Hello, and welcome to Online Research Where to Start. My name is Kara, and I'm the Adult Services Librarian at the Oregon Public Library, and I'm here to walk you through some tips and tricks for doing some online research. So, like Abraham Lincoln said, don't believe everything you read on the internet. Okay, actually, obviously Abraham Lincoln didn't say that on account of the internet not being around at that time. But there can be some really convincing fake information out there. And so here are some tips for how to not be fooled by some very convincing items. So I will be going through each one of these topics real quick and just talking about why you should do these things when you start doing research online, just to make sure that you're finding really reliable content. So the first thing is to consider the source. So this article, Dallas cancels Halloween amid Ebola concerns, was from a few years back, and it looks reliable, and the website looks very professional. But let's think, what is the national report? Like, what is it? So in this case, this website was created to look really reliable, and its branding and its website looks really professional, but it's actually a fake outlet for news. It's not a reliable resource. So when you're looking at websites, you can generally rely on .edu websites and .gov websites, because those are put together by education, like Wisconsin University and, places like that, and then government websites. .com and .co can be fake, or they can also be reliable. So it varies. And check to see if the links have been shortened, because they can also, you'll have a really, really long link and then it gets shortened for convenience. And when it is shortened, sometimes it can be made to look like it's from someplace where it's not actually from. So this is the first one. Consider the source. So then also, I recommend that you read beyond the headline. So this article, these colorful dots will save your lives. What is that actual story about? And a lot of times in websites that want to look like they're providing valuable information, they will make really dramatic claims in the headline of the article, and so it makes you want to click on it. And this is called clickbait. And typically these websites are run through ads. So every time you click on an article, you go to the page and it displays an ad, and then the website makes money that way. So at that point, it doesn't matter if the article that you're reading is true or not, because they already got their clicks and already got their money. In this case, this is an article that was from PBS and from a reliable, credible news source, but they were using a clickbait headline to drive up clicks to this article. It's actually a pretty interesting article. In San Francisco, it's some guy's job to go around and kill mosquitoes in the area. And when he's treated that area, he does a spray paint dot. So that just says, like, the mosquito has been applied, the pesticide has been applied. So that helps prevent mosquito-borne illnesses. So it was an interesting article, but the headline was misleading. So in this case, it's an actual news story, but it's using some of those tendencies for clickbait articles. Next up, we have check the author. So this article, South End residents evacuate town over supermoon collision fears. And there is no author. So if we just take a moment and think about, why would an author not want to put their name to this article? And that's simply because it's not true. Journalists typically are very excited to have their name associated with an article that they've written. It is their profession. It is how they drum up interest in them, in their writing, and how they get more jobs and gigs. So if somebody doesn't want to attach their name to the article, that leaves some questions there. And then if they do have a name on here, like instead of just saying chief reporter, if it had a name, you can also search their name on Google or another search engine and see if they have other articles. And if those other articles are also, if they're from reliable news outlets, then okay, all right, well, maybe there is some value in this content. But if it looks fake and there's not an author associated with it, I don't know. I wouldn't feel right about really relying on the information. So supporting sources. Most legitimate sites will have a list of sources to support their claims. And websites that don't have credible information will commonly not have sources, or will link in their sources to other websites that do not have credible information. Or in this case, for this article, it links to the Journal of Nutrition and some other article or other credible sources, but where it links is not relevant at all to this article. So it's linking to that relevant content, but it does not support any claims that are on this page. So, look for those sources, look to see if it is going to the Journal of Nutrition and then going to something that supports this information or not. And I mean, you really just have to be your own detective. All right, so another thing you should do when evaluating a website is to check the date of the article. Sometimes sensational stories are reshared to generate revenue from ads. So in the case of this example, this icy tsunami did actually occur in 2013, but it continues to be republished to generate money from the ads. So before you hit share on something, or before you really accept it as something that's true and happening today, just do a quick search on it and see if other stories come up that are recent, or if they are outdated. It did happen, so it's not to say that this icy tsunami never happens, but it just didn't happen this winter. So check that out. Another thing, and this one sometimes gets me, is to check to make sure that the article is not a joke or satire. There are a lot of popular websites that are specifically satire. Some of them are obvious, like The Onion, but some don't make it completely obvious on first look. So always check to make sure it's a legitimate news site. There is a satire column from the New York Times, and I'm blanking on the humorist who writes it. And sometimes it gets shared on Facebook and things, and you just see New York Times and then this crazy headline, and you're like, what? But it's satire. So always really read the article and make sure that you are familiar with if it's satire or not. And also, when you read more news and read more headlines, it will help you understand the parody. So then when you see the headline, you'll kind of get the joke before you start like wringing your hands at something you see in a satire article. So check your biases. And, like everybody, this one gets me too. I'm a librarian. I have a master's degree in library science. I've been trained on how to search and evaluate information, but my biases can still get me. So if if you find an article that aligns with your belief, you always want to double check that, because you want to believe something that you believe. And so it confirms what you already think. So a lot of times these unreliable news sources rely on these biases to get you to click on something, and then when you click on it, they make money off of it. So, really think about it, and, do some other searching before you start to believe that, these things are true and are reliable resources. Um, so if a story is just playing with your emotions, either because you want to believe it or because you don't want to believe it, check the facts with other news outlets. And then last but not least, feel free to reach out to the library, and we can see if we can, find some more research on the topic or help you fact check things that you've been looking at. There are other websites that you can go to, like Snopes.com and Fact Check and PolitiFact, for some things, but that doesn't cover everything that you could possibly find online. So we are trained professionals who have been doing this and know how to do research, and you can consult with us like you could consult with any other expert. So with that, I want to talk about some of the resources that we use at the library that you can also use to help you find reliable information. So first, the library subscribes to a variety of online resources. And so these are subscription-based licenses that the library purchases on your behalf, and then you can use with your Oregon Public Library card. Additionally, Wisconsin provides resources through BadgerLink. They use state and federal money to purchase access to these resources for all Wisconsin residents. So all of these resources plus so much more is available at BadgerLink. And there's just a ton of newspapers, historic and current, magazines, journals, peer-reviewed journals, and just articles, and just lots of things. So there's a lot of really great information out there. So now I'm going to share a different screen, and I'll do a quick search to show you how to do some of this searching. Okay. So I am now searching the Oregon Public Library's homepage. And from our website, we have research and discovery. And this links to lots of resources that we subscribe to or that are available through BadgerLink. So you can see if it's a BadgerLink resource or if it's one that we subscribe to. It says that it's paid for or provided by whatever it's paid for or provided by. So one of the big things that people research online is health information. So I am going to go to our health and medicine page. And then these are resources that provide reliable information. They've been vetted by our staff here, and they provide quality content. So I am going to use Consumer Health Complete, and I'll show you this. This is a BadgerLink resource, and so right now it's checking to see if I am in Wisconsin. It verified that I am in Wisconsin, and it let me into the resource. If it wasn't sure if I was in Wisconsin, it would take me to the BadgerLink website and then ask me to log in with my library card or my zip code. So, stress is something that's going on a lot these days. And so if I wanted to do some research on how stress affects the body, I could type in stress here. And it gives me some suggestions, but I'll just stick with stress, and then I'll click search. And then we'll see what comes up. So I got a lot of different results here. This one's about stress fractures. That's a broken bone or cardiac stress or PTSD. So there's all this different information here. And these are evidence-based reports. So if I wanted more of like an encyclopedia entry, I could click to there. There's reference books, fact sheets and pamphlets, news and magazine articles, and drugs and herbs, alternative sources, images and diagrams, videos and animations. So there's a lot of great content in here. I want to go back to the reference books. So this will be a from a like encyclopedia or something like that. So I want to click on stress disorders, and I want to see a little bit more about this article. So this article offers information from stress disorders. It's from a publication called Stress Disorders, which was published in 2020. So this is a brand new publication. So this will have the most up-to-date information available. To see the full text, I'm going to click on PDF full text, and it will open up the PDF, which I can then download or print or share. And then here is the introduction to stress disorders, and it gives the bibliography of things that it cited. It gives some more information, and so here's some of that. Now I want to do a new search. We searched on stress, which is, you know, it can affect your health, but it's not a straight up health thing necessarily. So I'm going to go back to my result list and then type in a new search. And I'll type in high blood pressure. And then click search. And then again, we have all of these different formats. So I'm going to do the fact sheets and pamphlets. And so controlling your blood pressure, what to do when your doctor says you have hypertension. So I'll click on that, and this is 53 pages long. This is from the Harvard Medical School, the Harvard Medical School. So, I mean, Harvard's pretty reliable. It is a fairly recent publication. I think the last page said it was 2018 or something. So this gives you all the great information that you need. So this is just a quick search. There's a lot of stuff in here. You could really dig deep on that stress search if you wanted to, or, you know, other stress things. Stress can affect your blood pressure as well. So maybe that's kind of more what you're interested in researching. There's a lot of great information on that too. So one way that this database or the resources on these pages here back on the Oregon Public Library website, these have already been vetted. So when you do a search in Google and you type in stress, you know, you may find a lot of different things about stress, but you don't really know the quality of the source. The information that are in these databases that we provide access to, that have been purchased, the vendors have vetted it, and then we've taken a look at the content and made sure that, you know, it's including reliable things. And, you know, Consumer Health Complete is a database that's available nationwide in a variety of different educational institutions. So you can really trust that, you know, if there's something wrong going on with the information that's provided, we're going to tell the vendor and the vendor's going to fix it. So these are really good resources, high quality, just really great for your research. So that was my example for searching today. If you have any questions, please reach out, and we're happy to help you, or happy to help you navigate the website or how to search or use these resources. And BadgerLink also has search help and information that way as well. So please feel free to reach out to either of us. We can reach out to BadgerLink on your behalf if you have questions, but please let us know if there's anything we can do to help. Thanks.